think we're back with, they're just going to restart their game and do it over. So, the first one, if you were here last time, they got timed out because they were trying to discuss a rule situation, and it timed out on Casey and awarded the game to Justin, so now we're playing it over again. We'll see if each player gets a similar starting situation as they did last time. Basically, just forget everything that happened last game because we're starting with a new one. Alright, so we'll see if this one can resolve itself. Justin plays as tragedy has occurred. And the action timer has been turned off. Since they're playing this casual, they couldn't play each other again in the Gemp League because they'd already played each other. So this is just a casual game, but we're going to count this one as the final result. So similar start from Casey. He gets the Imperial Command to get the PV. He had that in the first game. We'll see if Justin has a similar start. He was able to get both the Jedi Council Chamber and the Boss Nash Chamber out, deployed on his second turn. So he has the Hoth Echo, sorry, the Home One Echo, Home One Docking Bay from hand. He has the JCC from hand. And he doesn't have a docking bay. So the Hoth Echo Docking Bay is either in his hand or is one of the 4 cards he has activated. I don't know why my audio would be echoing. It was echoing earlier and I thought I fixed it. So, I don't know why it would be. Maybe we'll try that. See if that helps. But then Justin just draws cards. He draws them all. So we know the Hoth Echo Docking Bay was probably one of the cards he activated, so needed to get that out of his force. So now Casey with his 5 force, we'll see. That's better? Yeah, they have it titled casual, no talking, because since in the OCS games you can't chat if you're a person, but in these ones, casual games, the observers can chat with you, and they just don't want any of that distraction. If you want to chat, then come to Twitch. So Casey deploys Jakku with Kuat Drive Yards, just like last time. So I mean, a pretty similar start. Justin was able to get both the JCC and the Boss Nash Chambers out on his second turn. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time, but we'll see. There's the Hoth Echo Docking Bay from Ham. So he just deploys the docking bay and then draws. It's a pretty quick pace to these first two turns. Justin does leave 6 force active. He must have gotten whatever he was looking for pretty swiftly in his drawing that turn. Alright, so we can get another battleground out, the Caridus system. Once again, very similar start to how we had last time. I'm guessing he will draw some cards. There's really nothing, no reason for him to deploy a bunch right now. He plays the Oppressive Enforcement Shield. And there is no Tri-Shield. Strategic Reserves comes down. I'm going to go close my back door. Alright. So Justin's going to go with Luke, play a different strategy than he did last time. He'll go with Luke to the Tunnel Village, deploy the lightsaber, and put the pressure on at that system. Last time he went to the Battle Plains with Chewie, and then a whole Master Trooper showed up, and then we had to restart. So yeah, I don't know why Casey doesn't seem to play his Grabber Shield. I'm guessing he might main deck Grabbers, like they'll be hell to pays, because he plays the Oppressive Enforcement Shield and then just runs those, or maybe something special planned for them or something. Because he was already shield busted last game without playing it, if I remember correctly. Alright, so Justin also goes with Rey to the Tunnel Village and uses Rey's text to take a card from use. So he's got Luke and Rey, he's got his Resistance Agent out, who is Rey. Got the Boss Nash Chambers with the Rey pull. So he's got most of his activation out now. And I imagine from here he'll probably just draw some cards. Yep. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Alright, so Casey's got 4-4 saved. He's going to activate another 9, so he'll have up to 13 to deal with Luke and Ray. Or he could also, like he did last game, try to go with just the finalizer play. So yeah, he's going to do the Alert My Star Destroyer to do Hux, PV, and the finalizer will go to Jakku. And this game will probably just unfold very similar to last time. So Casey got his bow to the first order pull. Guessing he used it for that blockade flagship bridge. Get his activation going a little better. PV joins the finalizer. So yeah, basically sort of similar setup to last game. He has strategic reserves out. He's got his space solidified with the finalizer, Hux, and PV. And then Justin's going to try to get the boss, or the Naboo battle planes with Awisa. So we can maybe go to a second battleground site at some point. Yeah, so in chat they were discussing why you would choose Rey as the resistance agent over Luke. Because, yeah, the immunity of attrition only gets lost if Luke is the resistance agent. So that way, Rey is still immune less than 6 when she's on Jakku. So she still can keep some of that, whereas Luke would lose all of his immunity, even though you're running 4 or 5 copies. So, looks like he didn't play a Battle Order Shield to make him pay for that drain, even though he had the Trooper to cancel it. But it's still, usually worth it to make them pay the Force. Okay, so we're going to get Tantive and probably Anakin? Maybe Hera? Yeah, Hera instead this time. So Tantive goes and joins the Starkiller base with Hera and Anakin. Alright. So a little bit stronger than that was last time. Maybe a little bit weaker to the beatdown, though, because he did have Chewie. And then Silverglen's just going to draw. So he sets up space, does his force drain. See, I don't think you get the second pilot on that ship if you play Battle Order to make him pay for that drain that you're going to cancel. You probably just get Anakin instead of Hera and Anakin. So I mean that's an extra power, chance to draw an extra destiny, things like that. So Justin is forced to play the battle plan shield to prevent the drain of 2 at Jakku being free. If Casey decides to go for that, then he'll only have 9 force available to him as a it's a cost to pay for the beatdown that he might want to bring down here. And Justin can still play Clash of the Sabers here if anybody comes down on Luke and Ray. So there's Kylo. So Casey is going to attack the Luke. Losing Battle of the First Order. So now we've got FN 2003. Phasma, another bow pull. So he has another trooper he can pull off reserves, or with 11 cards in hand, I imagine he has at least one more trooper. Trooper comes off reserves. So we see if Justin has a Clash. I imagine he would use it on FN 2003 if he had the Clash, just like in the last game. There's 2199. He's the one who has the lightsaber canceling text or the permanent weapon. And there's a blaster rifle. Only 1 force saved. Yep. So yeah, he doesn't have enough to battle and use FN 2003's game text because he costs 1. So he's going to battle anyway, even though he can't use FN's game text. And we'll see if there's any just actions like a trooper assault. He's already up 10 power, so maybe he thinks the trooper assault isn't all that necessary. Alright, so I don't think I've seen a trooper assault yet. But I'm not sure that we're not past that time. Refresh it here, make sure I'm... Okay. So yeah, no trooper assault. Just a lightsaber swing from Kylo at Rey. So he does play the You'll Be Dead. Not able to start it, but he does play it. Okay, so that's a hit on Rey. Lose 1 force for that. Loses a speak from hand. Yep. Luke, I imagine, will swing at Kylo or Phasma. Might be worth it just to go at Phasma or one of the troopers, since you know there's multiple ways for him to cancel weapon destinies. Yeah, he's going to go for 2003. Should be a hit. No, he's going to cancel that one. And he draws a 1, so that's a miss. And the Hujix is not in Silverglen's hand. We see that. And he draws a Kylo with lightsaber for one of his destinies. He does get 2. Oh no, this is the blaster. So he was shooting the blaster at Luke. Pretty hard to hit Luke with that, so even with the defense value reducer. And he used 21.99 on Luke. That's a good one. But I still think that's a miss. Draws a 3 for the first battle destiny. One more with Phasma. It's a 4, so a total of 7. Which breaks Luke's immunity, which is what you want. And he was going to die anyway because just the sheer numbers and what have you. But yeah, I mean, being down 10. Yeah, I mean, since Luke's not immune to that, you just have to lose Luke and 1. Probably going to lose the 1 first. So that way you can maybe retrieve the lightsaber back with Walkling. He might run 2 copies. I usually run 2 copies of the lightsaber when I play Throne Room. Or he could have an Onita. Yeah, so he's going to lose the 1, lose the Luke, lose the lightsaber. And dark side's flipped. They can stack an interrupt. So that went pretty well for the dark side. They had to lose their Kylo, but they were still able to get flipped, get the Luke and the Rey off the table, and cause 1 damage of overflow. Oh, you can't stack without Kylo, right? Okay, touche. He's going to move the finalizer over to Carida. Interesting. So, I mean, it's a better drain at Jakku, but he's able to retrieve troopers into hand when he controls Carida. So, Silverglen forgot his Boss Nass again. That guy never runs Boss Nass in his Throne Room decks. Boss Nass is really good. Oh yeah, I guess he is. You know, he doesn't have BB-8 to get around the retrieval thing. So if he has Rey as the resistance agent, you've got to probably guess he has more than 1 Rey. Wouldn't want to only have 1 copy of your resistance agent. So Justin's going to force drain, and it's not canceled by strategic reserves. He actually loses the 2 force, an Imperial Command, and a First Order Stormtrooper. Here comes the battle planes. So I imagine Luke will return to the table. Yep, there's Luke. He's going to use Like My Father Before Me to get the other copy of the lightsaber. Uses the Luke effect to gain an extra force. I imagine we'll see another character join. It's Jar Jar. Okay. And then probably the second Rey. Nope. Escape pod, we're doomed. Take it to Jark. He wants to get that Hoojix out of there. But so still flipped for Dark Side, since the Resistance agent isn't on the table. Alright, so now Dark Side can drain for 1 and 1. Casey plays Imperial Command. We'll see if Justin needs to grab that card. Doesn't look like he will. Oh, yeah, he will. So he does grab it. And Trooper Assault is a good one to grab, but sometimes it's that one because you want to battle more in space. So he gets Grand Admiral Thrawn with the command. So I imagine we might see Thrawn on the Chimera come at the Tantive, perhaps. Ow. Yeah, drains of 1 and 1. This is a rescue off the top. And a Corn Horn off the top. It's a good card. Casey gets his trooper back into hand. Trades a rifle for a trooper. So we'll see if he has enough ammunition to come down on a trooper beat on Jar Jar and Luke. Okay, there's the binder. Goes to Carida. The binder is a ship that makes it so that you can't react, or your ships can move as a react. That's what it is. Your starships may move to here as a react. If your opponent move a starship from here, requires +1 force. Yeah, I like that ship because it allows your ships to move back there with a react. I like to use Guri and the Stinger and react over with her, so all of a sudden they can be limited to 1 battle destiny. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Alright, so he has the Thrawn also. I imagine we might see Thrawn come out, and then he might move the Finalizer in front of the Tantive. Yep, so the stacked finalizer moves in front of Atanev, leaving only the Binder alone with no battle destiny. So I mean, I guess Casey just really doesn't expect Justin to have anything else in space, because you shouldn't be able to leave just a Power 5 Star Destroyer all by itself. I mean, I guess the finalizer could just react over there. That's kind of cool. Cancels the drain with strategic reserves. Justin's got 8 cards in hand and 18 force in force pile. But Luke is already deployed. We haven't really seen what else in terms of, we know he has Chewie. And I don't know what else he has in hand, but he's going to search for a docking bay, not find one. So the Starkiller base is Parsec 1. This is Parsec 4. So yeah, there's no issues with parsecs in this game with these ships. So I mean, that'll just move over to Jakku. Or even in front of the Binder, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, he's going to actually maybe try to battle the finalizer. Because now, with Hera and Lando, well, I guess she needs to have another rebel on that ship. So you either need to be against 2 Imperials, which she's only against 1, or with 2 rebels. Or sorry, oh, is it 2 Imperials or just 1? Okay, well, with an Imperial or 2 rebels. So she's good at, yeah, she has that destiny. Lando has that one. So Justin would be able to draw 3 battle destiny and maybe try to clear some pilots off of that finalizer. So there's the battle there. I mean, it's going to be 2 destinies versus 3 destinies. And Casey can't play Imperial Command because it's been grabbed already. So maybe that's a big reason why. Yeah, Justin does have to pay 1 for each battle destiny. But Justin's got Run Luke Run for 7. With Anakin being there. An Altar for a 5. And a Solo for a 2. So that's a total of 14. It's only immune less than 12, or less than 8 with PV, so. So 14 off of this ship is going to be a pretty decent amount of attrition. Anakin gets lost from light side. So, I mean, that's going to be... Yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of... Because those guys are only worth 5. So, it's going to have to be Thrawn and one of these guys. So, probably Hux. Yeah, so Hux and Thrawn... Oh, wow. So, he actually had to forfeit all of them. So that went pretty well for Silverglen. He was able to get all of the pilots off of that finalizer. And only lost 1 of his own pilots. Plays Hear Me Baby to play another defensive shield. It's cycling a 5. Alright, so I mean, it's going to be Darkside's turn now. They're going to do damage of 2. They have only 5 cards in hand, but they're going to be able to activate up to 14 force. And they could try to maybe attack Luke if they got cards for it, but with only a 5-card hand and 1 card on strategic reserves, I don't imagine that they have the ultimate beatdown hand with like trooper assaults and weapons and blast points and things like that. Justin just loses at a Speak with the Jedi Council. And then for the other drain, it will be another Speak with the Jedi Council. So Casey just moves the finalizer over. And then he's going to draw cards. Because he didn't have a big hand. So like I said, with only 5 cards in his hand, I didn't imagine he had what he wanted to carry this on. But now he is going to give up drains of 2 and 2. I assume he'll pull resistance to satisfy that and get the Naboo drain reduced to a 2 instead of a 3. Draws a big hand, 12 cards. Plays a Cold Feet, plays a Defensive Shield, Allegations of Corruption. So he also, like I said, could pull resistance and save himself a force loss. Justin plays Bith Shuffle to shuffle Casey's reserve. Casey's going to play a Force Push, get a couple cards out of his hand, and get one that he likes out of the 5-card Force pile he has. Just gonna keep drawing. Alright. So now Justin's got 8-card hand. He can activate up to 20 force. And he does. So if he has the ability to do anything more in space, he could attack the finalizer, which doesn't even get Destiny. It still has a pretty good immunity, but it's only 10 power and immune less than 5 as it stands. KC loses a Trooper Assault to the Force Drain at Starkiller Base and a Forced Order Stormtrooper from reserve deck. And then there's going to be a drain. I see he could have pulled resistance, but I guess he's just going to cancel them with the strategic reserves. So he doesn't really need to pull resistance if he's just planning on canceling it. I guess when we see him pull resistance, we'll know he's out of troopers for strategic reserves. So Chewie comes down. He's going to reinforce that site so he doesn't get beat down again. Rey comes out. So now that flips the objective back. And light side can retrieve force again, which could be good. This is not on Holotable, Dutch Boy. This is our new online platform called GEMP. It's online rules enforced Star Wars CCG. Whereas before with Holotable, it was just sort of a blank table that we had available to us. This is a online enforcement of these things. Going to play the altar to cancel strategic reserves. Casey's going to grab the altar. Successful. It's going to go to use pile because oppressive enforcement is on the table. Justin has to lose 2 because there is no try. Oh, I guess it's alter V. Lose no force, so there is no try. The stormtroopers go lost, so that could hurt Spidey Guy a little bit. But he is able to retrieve them into hand with his system. Oh yeah, absolutely, Dutch Boy. If you haven't played online on GEMP yet, can somebody in the Twitch chat post the link to GEMP? I'm a little busy myself, but make sure Dutch Boy knows where he's going and can get a link to GEMP to play some games and get back involved. He's going to follow with the Tantive over to the Jakku system. Alright, thank you, CRG. I appreciate it. Casey's going to play Firepower to be able to retrieve force for the times when Justin plays a card with ability and doesn't initiate a battle. Justin plays a Wisa to cycle a 5. And then Justin's just going to draw some cards. So, I mean, I think both players have a site now that the other player is unlikely to contest. The trooper stack at Zatanna Village is pretty hard to mess with for the dark side. And similarly, the Luke, Rey, Chewie stack is pretty hard. We might see some interaction in space if Lightside has another spaceship. They could maybe try to do some fun stuff. Or if they just get like a bunch of characters, they could try to do something there. But there's not going to be an Ellis Hellrot or a Neighbor Leeds thing because Insurrection aim high. All right, so now we're in Casey's activate phase. He's just going to play an accelerate to take an effect. So he's going to get that strategic reserves back. That was just canceled last turn. So the altar's been grabbed, and the strategic reserves is going to come right back out. So unlikely that it'll get canceled again. I don't think we've seen a second altar from Justin, but I could be wrong. Yeah, well, Tom is a good player out there for the Gemp, the Twitch guys who are chatting here. Tom's a good player. He's in the top 16 here. He's there all the time. But losing to Tom is, you should learn something from that. He's a good player. So Casey's gonna do some drains. He's got 1 and 1. Jin Urso from used pile. Oh, all right, here we go. Justin's going to play Surprise Assault to cancel the Force Drain and draw Destiny, see if he can cause some force loss. Drawing Leia for a 1 isn't a good start. Maybe he can Jedi Levitt. Okay, so he's got 6. He has to get higher than 15 to cause any force loss with the Surprise Assault. All right, so now we're at 12. Okay, so I think that was that's a pretty techie card for map. So you're able to draw. He turned a drain of 1 into, oh, but I guess Imperial Decree reduces the Surprise Assault damage, so he loses 1 to his own force drain instead of causing 1 force loss. You know, maybe against a different deck you could do some cool things with that. Womp womp. Yeah, if Decree wasn't out, that would have been a lot better. Losing 3 to your own force drain would really suck. At this point, though, both players have, now Casey retreat a trooper into hand, but so Casey's got 11 and Justin's got 10 cards in hand. Justin's got 18 life force. Casey has 17. So this is a pretty close match. I think at this point we're going to see very conservative, safe plays. As I say that, as a spy goes to the 3-0. That could turn things in the way for Casey if he's able to drain at that location for any number of turns. Like, that could help. At this point, other characters that Lightside has is like Leia, Solo, but he's going pretty hard to the Jedi Council Chamber with Yizard and Kylo. So committing Kylo to a non-battleground. He's got Spectre of the Supreme Leader also to back up Kylo. Strategic Reserves comes back out. So yeah, Lightside's going to have to be able to do something about the Jedi Council Chamber. Oh wow, so silverglen does have another altar. And he's going to play it to cancel Strategic Reserves again. and he got it. So strategic reserves goes back to the use pile. It's now the top card of use, so it would be the pretty close. He could track that around pretty easily. Alright, I'm tired. Okay. So imagine at this point he'll just move the finalizer. You can't face off against that, yeah. Finalizer moves for free. So now it's silverglen's activate, turn 8. He should be able to get in 2 drains here. I don't think Casey can pull resistance unless he has his cold feet again. And with that, without it, he'll end up losing 3 to the drain on the ground. Because, I mean, we've got to see if Justin has any plan to deal with Kylo and Izard at the JCC. This is going to hurt for Casey because this is a drain of 3. So he does lose 5 force this turn. He lost 2 cards from hand last time. We know that the strategic reserves is 2 card down on the top of his reserve deck. So he just lost from hand. See, I don't know what the top card is, but I'm pretty damn sure that the next card down from the top is that strategic reserves. Yeah, so he's losing cards from everywhere except the top of his reserve deck. He knows that that strategic reserves is big. So here's Obi-Wan with lightsaber to the JCC. Like we said, he had so Obi-Wan by himself is okay. He probably has tracked destinies to hit Izard with. So he just covers up the drain with Obi-Wan. He doesn't actually battle. We know he has the Hujix in hand, so he's probably just planning on using that. Moves the Tantive up to cover the drain, and also helps prevent the retrieval from Carida. Oh, I guess it's only if you occupy, so you don't have to control it. For some reason, I thought you had to control that one. Justin plays the Ultimatum Shield, but he doesn't have that card satisfied. The JCC is not a battleground. Spidey Guy activates 11 of his available 13. So that could mean that he's trying to swing lightsabers and draw battle destinies here. 4 strains for 1 at the Sentinel Village. Okay. So I guess the Finalizer does add 1 to drains at Starkiller base. That's kind of neat. Didn't know that it did that, but it makes sense. Oh, he's going to Sniper Dark Strike on Obi-Wan. If this hits, then he's going to be able to drain at the JCC. Blaster deflection. So it doesn't go through. I would have considered... I guess he couldn't grab that. He already grabbed the command. Grabbing that card. It's pretty big, though, not having that happen. Because if he was able to hit Obi-Wan, he would have caused 1 force loss from the hit, and then been able to drain over the top. So... Spidey Guy is going to lose a force to retrieve a trooper into hand. He's going to play You'll Be Dead. Guri from hand to the JCC. So You'll Be Dead will ping him for 1 at the Tunnel Village. Thanks, CRG, for tuning in. Yeah, the rest of the video will be uploaded or be available to watch as soon as we're done here. So now he's going to... Silverglen's going to clash Kylo out. I guess this is before battle. Yeah. So Kylo can't battle or move until the end of Justin's turn. This one should be over with soon, and then we can start cooking dinner. Do you want to get stuff going for that or whatever? So Casey still does initiate the battle with Izard and Guri against Obi-Wan. So I imagine Obi-Wan will swing at Guri, I would think. There's only 1 harder to hit. and more forfeit and higher immunity. Yeah. Padme for a 3. And fly casual for a 6. That hits. Maybe Justin's got the sorry about the mess combo. Maybe he can just kill Guri. Seems like there is something going on here. Nope. Trooper for Destiny. Clear Obi-Wan. But as long as Justin draws higher than a 2, Izard and Guri are both dead. Draws a 6. So the battle will be a tie, and the site will clear. Okay, Binder moves over to Jakku. And Finalizer stays at the Starkiller base. So there's still a Kylo Ren to be dealt with, but he can't be battled on Justin's upcoming turn because of the Clash of Sabers. Alright, so we've got Casey with 4 cards in hands, 13 life force. Justin with 7 cards in hands and 16 life force. Still pretty close. Casey was able to get the You'll Be Dead out this last turn, so he'll be able to ping there. And he's been doing like drains of 1 and 1 pretty much all game. We'll see how the Kylo at the JCC resolves. Justin's going to activate. We'll see what he activates. Will tell us what he plans on doing this turn. So he activates 10 out of a possible 16. So he could be saving some draws here. Casey plays the Cold Feet, so he can finally get the... Oh, he pulls Code Clearance. So I thought he would have pulled Resistance so that he could have stopped taking... I guess he doesn't have that satisfied currently, but he has at other times. Justin's just cycling some interrupts out of hand, back into force. Alright, now he's going to activate the rest of his force. So, maybe no Battle Destiny draws this turn. Still has that that issue with Kylo at the JCC. Kylo cannot battle this turn due to Clash. but he can battle on Casey's turn. So drain of 1 at Karita, and then it'll be 3 at the Battle Plains. So there's a Restraining Bolt, a Trooper Assault, and a Mitaka for the 4th strain, as well as a Tarkin's Order for the other one. Solo comes down to clear Kylo next turn. Said Kylo cannot battle this turn because he was clashed during during Casey's last turn. Tantive moves over to cover up the drain at Jakku. So just solo. He has the one Destiny if anyone will do otherwise. But that's it. Could easily get hit with the lightsaber, cause a force loss. We know Justin has a Hoojix in hand, though. So the life force is 8 cards to 3 cards in hand in favor of light side. Light side will have 14 life force to dark side's 10. So it looks like Justin might pull this one out close, similar to the last game that we did with Johnny, Chew, and Crypto, where it was a 4 force differential. I imagine this one will be pretty similar. Casey's only going to be doing 2 damage this control phase. 1 from You'll Be Dead, and 1 from the 4th strain. I guess no, it'll be 3. 1 from the 4th strain at Starkiller Base, 1 from the 4th strain at Tunnel Village, and then 1 from You'll Be Dead. Then Justin is doing 5 a turn. 5 next turn. Just like in the movies. Yeah, I imagine you're talking about Solo versus Kylo. Wow, we got our strategic reserves back out. It's the 3rd time that card has been deployed. Battles against Kylo. Kylo swings. Kylo hits. So that'll cause a force loss. Alright, so they're just going to clear this site. Justin might have some overflow because of the forfeit. He's going to use Solo's game text to play heading for the medical frigate to make it one less overflow. But we all know that Justin has the Hujix, and he'll just play it here. Well, I guess it'd only be 2 force loss, so it's going to use Spectre to take Kylo back into hand. Yeah, I don't think it was in the Jedi Council chamber. I think the Jedi Council chamber has long been destroyed by the time Kylo and Han Solo fought each other. So the JCC is cleared. And then Casey is in his move phase. He'll move the binder back over to Carida, I imagine. Or maybe he'll move the finalizer in front. No, yeah, he's just going to do this. He's going to try to keep it as close as possible, and the finalizer is actually doing a good bit of damage for him. So at this point, we have to suspect that Justin doesn't have any other starships in his deck, because if he did, that they would have come up at this point. Okay. Justin places his Walkling out of play to retrieve a Fly Casual, get a Destiny 6 back that he can track in case he needs to. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I'd say Justin's probably going to win this one. He's got a 7 to 14 life force advantage here on turn 10. And that's not counting cards in hand. So it's basically, at this point, I'm trying to get some dinner made. I'm going to assume at this point that Justin's going to win here by like 5. But yeah, with the weirdness of how this game went, they started about half an hour or so after they were supposed to, because they started early and then they had a game get canceled due to an error. So they're kind of throwing a cog into my plans. But he got the drain canceled with strategic reserves. Drain at Jakku for 2. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this running for you guys to finish the stream for posterity's sake. But I gotta start cooking dinner. This one should be over in the next turn or two.